because for the most part, I've just been enjoying rest, relaxation. I have PTSDs from military sexual trauma, so going outside is a bit of an issue. Talking to people is an issue. Sometimes even staying in is an issue. So there's that. It's been rough. It's been rough these past few months traveling from city to city to city to city to city, only to be stranded and derailed quite literally. So there's that. Like I really don't want an apartment or a house because that's just how Western people think. They think in, well, if I build a wall or if I have four walls and a fence, that's going to keep people out who mean me harm. That's that's not how that functions at all. In fact, it's quite the opposite. When you're homeless on the street, for the most part, people don't mug you on the street unless you're sleeping at night or something like that. So there is that. But they leave you alone. They leave you alone. But when you live in a house, you literally put up a sign that says, I can afford many things. And that's enough for people. They they can sniff out that you have some money, not a lot of money, but you can have some money if you have a house or an apartment or something like that. It's not safer. It's just more convenient. Like if you want safer, then you got to go above and beyond. And sometimes, yeah, you can't do that by yourself. Lord knows, I have tried. I have tried to find me the man. But I can't for the life of me. I don't know why. I don't know why. They see the beard and they're just like, dude, Sasquatch much? Some guys are into it, but then they never really talk back. So I guess they're really not that into it. And I'm not going to change because I'm not trying to be super, super pretty. Because if I'm super pretty, number one, that takes maintenance. And two, I already have cougars trying to hug me on public transit. I'm not trying to get young girls to run up to me too. So I'm gonna be as ugly as fuck and go live in my White Castle. Oh, but it's true. It's true. Like if I had my way, I would just live in a tent and just enjoy that. Enjoy living in a tent. I really don't want a house or an apartment. I really don't. I look at that as just soul draining. I kind of liked living in a hotel because when you want to stay in the hotel, you have the hotel. And when you don't, you want to go walking around, you go walking around. But there's always the understanding of if you don't pay, you leave, which is kind of what's happening here on Friday. I can't afford to stay here any longer. So I will be heading to a shelter. I'll be heading to a shelter. You would think that with my disability status and everything, that I would have been able to avoid having to go back into the shelter. But when wacky white women decide to put their arm around you on a train and you freak out because you got that PTSD, I don't know. I'm trying to go into this shelter with humility as soon as I find that. That's where things are. I'd love to say that I did need a shelter for literally 10 days, but that's where it is. I spent the majority of the month trying to push women out my life because I have PTSD from military sexual trauma and it makes me uncomfortable. And now I have to spend 10 days literally trapped with women, doing paperwork with women, in offices with women, and yep, here it goes again. Just more PTSD bullshit that I'm sorry, I'm just gonna blame white America for this because if there was a black person or a Hispanic person involved in any of this, they would have said, enough is enough. Enough is enough. Only a white person can come up with this bullshit of go to the back of the train, put your arm around him, and try talking to him. Wait for him to put his jacket there so he's really freaked out. Okay, that is white bullshit. That is white bullshit. Like I don't know how many people it took to pull that shit off, but I guarantee, I almost guarantee there wasn't a single person of color consulted in any of these. I'm still upset. I'm still upset. I'm still upset and shaking with rage because I was doing everything right. Everything right. I had my earbuds in. I was trying to count to 10. There was a woman across from me, but she didn't talk to me. She didn't. She was on her laptop. She was doing her thing. I was just like, I'm uncomfortable, but you know what? You paid for this train like everybody else. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself. I sat down. I was reading a book. But apparently that's something you're just not allowed to do. You see, this is why I have issues with America. I have issues with America because they don't like literate people of color. They don't like people of color who aspire to be more than perhaps what they came from. I always came from money, so technically I'm just aspiring to be me. But either way, it just irks them on a cellular level that I would come into business class and deign not to talk to them, to ignore them as if they were lesser than. It's, do you know who I am? It's that kind of attitude, in these business lounges of, we're doing you a service by talking to you. It's what again? Like, I still need that explained to me why these white people thought it was appropriate to talk to the disabled person. Like, I still can't get over. Woman was sitting with her husband and then got up from her husband to spend 10 minutes just just near me, almost on top of me. While her husband is just like, she went that way. What is going on here? Like, This I don't understand. I really don't. Oh, since I'm on, I have to talk about Sir Idris Elba. Sir Idris Elba, the hottest man ever. My chocolate pass. I say my chocolate pass because look, I don't fuck black people. But if Sir Idris Elba, was to present it to me, I would say yes. Of course, of course. You don't even have to ask. Just present. But yes, Sir Idris Elba, knighted by King Charles. Like, wow, wow, wow. There are things that you just say that's amazing. That's amazing because not a lot of people get that honor, especially not a lot of people of color get that honor. But he got that honor. So Sir Idris Elba, I can. It just makes me smile. It makes me smile. Hopefully, he'll be Bond at some point because I need to see him just buff one more time. I need to see him buff one more time. I'm weak for him. I'm weak. I love him. Idris Elba. So dreamy. So dreamy. My chocolate pass there. Love it. Uh, that's what's going on with me. I've been trying to do a bit of the Twitch streams. I suck at it. I am not good at that. It takes time. It takes a long time to really gather an audience. I don't expect people to be lining up to join my channel. And there's so many other people. I mean, the market is just it's saturated, but there's also room in a way. But you have to be like super, super patient, super, super patient, and to tell you the truth, I don't really want that to be my life because I'm more concerned about the mission to Mars. I'm more concerned. Sorry, try to speak English and I fail. I fail miserably every time trying to just talk to people, speak out loud. The words get jumbled in my mouth. I'm trying my hardest to support NASA for saying that April next month there will be a mission to Mars. Not Mars, Moon. They're going back to the moon. And all I can think is, but you're still using rockets. And all the people on the news, all the people involved in it, they just nod their heads. They're like, ooh, mission to the moon. But they don't say, but why are you still using rockets? We've already proven that you have technology. There's even the light sail. You were making a light sail at some point. Wouldn't you think that the best place to try that would be the shortest distance? But they're not doing that. They're using a rocket to get to the moon. The whole point of the light sail is it's super fast. So you would go to the moon, which isn't a large distance, but it is a distance. What are we thinking? This is why I have an issue with America and their space program because they're not thinking long term. They're thinking short term of we have to look like we're doing something, or people going to think that NASA is just a fucking money drain or some sort of DARPA shell fund. Because it kind of is in a way, but they're not doing anything. There's no science behind taking a rocket and putting it on the moon. You've already done that. You've proven that you could do that. There is science in Okay, well, we use light technology to go to the moon. Or maybe, just maybe, we get it through our heads that we're supposed to teleport. We're supposed to teleport for everything. We're supposed to teleport on Earth. And when I mean teleport, I mean this, what I'm doing right here. There isn't any air on the moon. There isn't any food on the moon. But could you, I don't know, make a microchip on the moon? Yeah, you could. You can have some robots do that. Could you put a farm on the moon? Yeah, have some robot farmers, robotic farmers. All these things you could do remotely. And if you physically need to be there, then look, you entangle. Why aren't we thinking this way? Why are we still thinking of I have to take rocket missile thing to moon to put shoe on moon? Does that make sense? What is going on with the American people that we just accept? Oh, all right, you're taking a missile to the moon to put a shoe on the moon. Not you're taking a light sail to go to the moon in order to change production venues for things like Apple, Nvidia. All these major companies that are employing people as literal slaves in some cases. We all read the reports of Foxconn of these people working so hard that they had to put nets around the building because the people said, fuck this job. I'm just going to fucking take a swan dive. And we're still supposed to say, we got to protect jobs. Really got to protect jobs. We can't let the robots take our jobs. It's like, well, if people are trying to do somersaults in the air and hitting the ground, I think we can just let the job go. I think we can even do better by saying, you know what, those kind of factory jobs, which in a way just pollute, let's just put them off Earth. Earth is for farmers. How many times do I have to say this to humans? Earth is for farmers. You're supposed to grow things on it. You don't grow things on it. You literally just pave over everything and say, well, we needed a road there. It's like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. You could have walked. Use your legs. Walk. Or better yet, just stay home. Why does no one challenge these people? Why does no one challenge science? We live in a world where you have options. We have technology that clearly shows options now. Why would you take a missile to the moon just to put a shoe there when you did that already? When what you should do is put a base there and say, you know what? We need microchips. We need, I don't know, any sort of industrial part that you can think of. We can put that on the moon. Sure, there's some meteors that come and smash up the moon from time to time. Great. Who the fuck cares? Build another base. Why aren't we thinking for the future? What is wrong with America that their science and their space program is still in the 1950s and 60s? I hate living in this country under such cowardice. I have to call it cowardice. You don't want to put a manned mission on a solar sail. I almost get that. Almost. But have you tried? Have you even considered it? Are you even using a solar sail to travel between the continents? What the fuck are you people doing at NASA? Because you're still using missiles to travel? You're not using solar sails, and you're not even encouraging everyone in your country to just use light. I'll say it. We're supposed to be heading toward global warming, global warming. I want that ice age, and the only way to get that is to tell people use light. Because when you start doing that, when you start saying we can get you to Western Europe within the hour, physically, people might look at life differently. People might experience other places, other cultures. That's what we want. Why do you think we have war? Why do you think we have depression? Could I find the love of my life in America? Probably. Probably. Um, with the way that I run my life and the who I am, most likely would just be happier dating a European. 1 hour between anywhere in the United States to Europe. 1 hour. Faster than any plane, faster than anything. That is technology. You could do that here. But for some reason, we're still rocket, 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 go fast, rocket, 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 go fast. That's it. That's it. That's all NASA can contribute after decades of, well, we built a better rocket. That's it. How is that okay? How is that okay? No, this is the part that kind of fucking ticks me off because I'm supposed to get this house, to get this apartment, and just hide from these creepy white people who just want to put their arms around me in the middle of public transit. But I cannot just stand by while people like NASA and SpaceX just keep sending missiles and slowing things down when I know that light based technology is just better. It's what we need. We need to tell people get the fuck out those cars, get the fuck off the bus, get the fuck off these planes, and just be there. Understand that this ship, this thing that I'm advocating for, is a way to unify people. It's a way to move forward after decades of divisiveness, not helped by our leaders. So I have some hard decisions to make, hard decisions. I'm still going to be homeless at the end of the week, but I find it very, very hard to just get a place and ignore that I'm a better scientist than all the people at NASA. I'm a better scientist than the people in SpaceX. Congratulations on your mission to the moon. You're just going about it the wrong way. There's more I could say on the issue, but I go round and round about it. In a way, or in a way, say I'm terrible at English. In a way, I have to just accept that humans want to take the longer route. They want to go through World War III. They want to deal with pandemics rather than elevating themselves toward the next level. These squabbles that we have between countries, between people, they don't mean anything when you go to another planet. Because the people who decide, I don't want to live on Earth, are people who are so out there, so different, so radical in a way, that they could maybe stomach having to rub elbows with the smartest and most beautiful people on the planet. War is for humans. I guess I'm not that human. My name is Ian Iliona. I'm a mutant. I'm a werewolf. I'm an environmentalist. I'm a scientist. I'm an engineer. I am trying to advocate for change.org/genius to Mars. That is change.org/genius, the number two, Mars, genius to Mars. Change.org/genius to Mars. Because the idea of the commute, the idea of commerce between Earth and its neighbors makes more sense than I put shoe on moon. Are you trying to sell me a fucking sneaker? Is that the only reason why America woke itself up? Because, America's woke and decided to go to the moon because they want to sell you a Nike sneaker and say, just do it. Is that it? Is that it? Okay. Okay. Because it's all about the capitalism. It's never about the science. It's never about inspiring young people to get out of the neighborhoods, get out of these dead end jobs, and be part of something more. You can have no skills whatsoever, but 2 to 3 months traveling in space, you might study on a couple of things. You might pick up a skill. Why is NASA and SpaceX never thinking this way of, good grief, there's computing power within the populace and nobody's using it. We use it mostly to play video games or to analyze the subplots of Game of Thrones spin-off series, but we don't use it toward, could I learn a skill that could translate to living on another planet and also improving life here? Something to think about. My name is Ian Iliona. I hope to see you on the next podcast.